And another refreshing summer treat is Kartoffelsalat, or Swiss potato salad. Now, in Switzerland, in German, we have two words. We have Kartoffel, which is more the German word for potatoes, and then we also call them Erdäpfel. And Erdäpfel means like earth apples, which basically they are like an earth apple, aren't they? And what I like about the European style of making potato salad is not so much mayonnaise. It's more of a bit of a vinegary taste and all in here, and a little bit of the mustard you use and everything. This is fantastic. If you're ever in Zurich, you go to the Zeughaus Keller. They'll bring you a big potato salad with massive sausages that are wurst, and you eat those together. And well, Now, I must say, there's a little bit of cooking involved. You know, we've been trying to do all non-cooking this summer, but it's nice thing is you don't have to cook it now. You pre-cook it. You know, the evening before, or when it's cool in the evening, and you've got time later on. You throw this together. It doesn't take long, and then you just let it sit. And the longer it sits, the better it gets. So let's go in the kitchen and make some Kartoffelsalat right now. All right, to make our potato salad, or our Kartoffelsalat, here are our Kartoffel, our potatoes. That is 2 pounds of potatoes. They've been peeled and then sliced about 1/4 inch, 5-6 millimeters thick. Notice that I don't worry too much about peeling everything. You know, little pieces left on there, just adds a little color and texture. Afterwards, we're going to use here, we've got 1/2 cup of chicken stock. We're going to heat that up a little later. First, we're going to cook the potatoes. Then for the dressing, what we have here is 1/4 cup of olive oil, 3 tablespoons of vinegar, 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, that's a good sharp mustard, a teaspoon of pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then for the garnish, 1 tablespoon of dried dillweed. So first, let's get the potatoes into a pot, and then add water. Perfect amount. Didn't even measure that. All right. And then we're going to bring this to a boil. I'll put that at a medium-high heat. I want to bring it to a boil. Then once it gets boiling, I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to cook it, simmer, more like between a simmer and a boil. And we want to go usually about 15 minutes, but we're only cutting about 1/4 inch thick. So at 10 minutes, what I'm going to do is take a fork. Like if you take one of these potatoes now, and you push a fork into it, it's hard. We want to cook them until the fork just starts to penetrate into the potato nicely. We don't need it too soft. We don't overcook these. So just until we can penetrate the potato, it's a little bit tender, and that's when we're going to take it off heat. So let's come back in about 10, 12 minutes and check on these. All right, while we're waiting for that to boil, let's make the dressing. So we're gonna put the dill aside because we're gonna use that afterwards as a garnish, but we're gonna put the mayonnaise in a small bowl here. And then we can add in the pepper, the salt, and let's work that mustard into there. All right, I'm just gonna mix those together. And then I'm gonna add in the olive oil and the vinegar. And just kind of all right, that's looking pretty good. So let's just set that aside. And now, we got a little bit more time yet while we wait for those potatoes to boil. All right, so that's been cooking for a little over 10 minutes. I'm gonna do the fork test. What you do is take the fork and just push it down into one of the potatoes. All right, yeah. Now the fork is going in quite easily. Let's just put that on a spoon here, and you can see. Yes, those are ready. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take them off the heat and drain them in the colander. Okay, and then while those are draining, I want to take this soup stock and heat it up. Just bring it up to a little simmer is all we need. Just got it good and hot. So let's get that going. I'm going to do that in about a medium heat. Medium in a bit. I want it to heat up quick. All right, so those are draining. Let's get our salad bowl in here, because the potatoes are going to go in the salad bowl, and then we're going to add the hot broth to it and just let it sit there, and the potatoes just soak up that broth, and that's where you get that fantastic flavor that you get in Swiss potato salad. All right, look at that. So our broth is starting to simmer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the potatoes into the salad bowl. And then, there we go, our broth is boiling. So, just going to kind of pour that over the potatoes. And then we can give the potatoes a little toss in that, just make sure everybody's got some broth. All right, and that's it. Gonna let that sit for about 3/4 of an hour. Half an hour, okay, 3/4 of an hour is better, somewhere around there. Let it cool down, and then we're gonna add our dressing, our garnish. This is gonna give a nice look to it. And then we're gonna have Swiss potato salad. So, see you in about 3/4 of an hour. All right, so that's been sitting, cooling a bit for about 45 minutes. It's absorbed most of the broth into it, the chicken broth. Now, for those of you who are thinking, oh, chicken broth, and I'm a vegetarian, you can do this with vegetable broth too. It really doesn't matter. All right, so let's put that to one side. What we have here is that dill and the dressing, which I covered up because it's going to be sitting here for a little while. Just give that a little stir again. Now all I do is you can either sprinkle this over and work it in, or just toss it into your dressing. Kind of work it into the dressing. Try not to spill it on the counter like that. And, oh, and that dill smell is just fantastic. And just kind of work it in there a little bit. And now, I'm going to pour this over. And there we go. Toss it around. Yeah, you just got to coat those potatoes with that dressing. And it's a very light dressing. You know, in Switzerland we have this kind of more oil and vinegar than the mayonnaise. When I moved to Canada, I did like the North American style of potato salad too, because it had all this mayonnaise. I like both. This one here goes very well. This is great with sausages and stuff like that. All right, so now this can sit as long as you want. You could make this the night before. You could just cover it and throw it in the refrigerator. Obviously, maybe put it in a smaller bowl. It'd be easier to put it in the refrigerator. And serve it any time. And this is the fantastic Kartoffelsalat, or Swiss potato salad. Enjoy. Now, if you go to the link appearing on the screen, you can get the free printable recipe for Kartoffelsalat, or Swiss potato salad, on our website. And also, don't forget, you can get all kinds of kitchen tech and information about ingredients and other things to help you with your cooking if you go to our patreon.com/Kuma's Kitchen. You'll see them there in our feed. So go print out this recipe, have fun making and eating this, and make cooking fun again with Kuma's Kitchen.